Hi there Booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm going to be talking about the shortlist for the SFF Awards 2017. So the nominations came in and we had a record-breaking amount of nominations this year, which was really exciting, and I'm so pleased that so many of you decided to nominate your favourite books in the different categories. So today I'm going to be announcing the top 3 nominations in each of the categories. We'll then be moving on to read-alongs. Each of the judges will be doing various read-alongs via the Goodreads group and Twitter over the next 3 months, starting in March. And March, April and May will be the time when we're doing read-alongs, and then we will be picking a winner in June. So let's go through the different categories and the books that have been reached the shortlist. So in Best Novel, we have nominated and reaching the shortlist 9 Fox Gambit by Yoon Ha Lee. I haven't read this one yet. It's been described as a science fiction space opera, so I'm excited to get to this one. The second book that reached the shortlist is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in a series, with the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, reaching the shortlist last year. It wasn't a book that I loved, I just thought it was okay, so I wasn't going to carry on in this series, but seeing as it's been nominated and reached the shortlist, then I will be reading this one, and I borrowed it from the library. And the third book to reach the shortlist is one that I don't actually own, but I am going to be getting on Kindle because, well, I'm not buying physical books at the moment and I don't have it in my library, and that is Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This is the second book in a series as well, and is the book that comes after the 5th season. Again, this was a book that I quite enjoyed, but wasn't one that I was going to carry on the series with, but I shall be now because it's obviously reached the shortlist. So that is the 3 books that have reached the shortlist for the novel category. The first book that has reached the stages of shortlist for the YA category is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This was one that I nominated. I gave 5 stars. I loved. It's again the second in a series, with the first being A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I didn't really like. So this one came as a really pleasant surprise. So I won't be reading this one again, but this one got 5 stars from me already. Next to reach the shortlist in the YA category was Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't read this one yet. I do own it. I've owned it because I really enjoyed the first in the series, which was Six of Crows. So this is the second in this duology. It is set in the same world, I believe, as the Grisha trilogy, which starts with Shadow and Bone. I didn't read those. I read Shadow and Bone, but I didn't continue with that because I wasn't as keen. But I have really enjoyed the Six of Crows, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into Crooked Kingdom. And the final one in this category is one that I don't own, but I have just reserved from the library, and that is This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. So V.E. Schwab's done really well so far. She's got a book in both the adult and the YA categories, so I shall be reading that one as well. For the middle grade, the first book that was nominated is Magnus Chase and the Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan. I have not read the first book in this new series by him, which is called The Sword of Summer, so I shall be reading The Sword of Summer and then this one, which is book 2, which is The Hammer of Thor. I like Rick Riordan's writing. It's very easy and fast paced, so I'm intrigued to see what I think about this series. The next book in middle grade is The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan, which is a book in the Trials of Apollo series. I think it's the first book. I don't have this one. I have rented it from the library, so I'm just waiting for that to come in, but I shall be reading that one. So that's 2 Rick Riordan in the middle grade category. And then finally, the third one in middle grade is Furthermore by Tahara Muffy. I own this one. It's one that I've really wanted to read anyway, so I shall be getting stuck into this one pretty soon. In fact, I might start with this one. In terms of the graphic novels that were nominated, one of the shortlist is Saga Volume 6. So if you haven't got into Saga yet, now is your chance. You can read up to Volume 6. 6 is the one that has been nominated and shortlisted. And also Descender Volume 2 is on the shortlist. So if you haven't read this, this is the second volume, with the first looking like this, I shall be rereading volume 1 and going on to volume 2. And then the third on the shortlist for graphic work is Monstrous volume 1, which I don't own, and I have put in a request to borrow from the library, so I shall be reading that one as well. And then finally, in the short works, Every Heart is a Doorway by Shannon Maguire has reached the shortlist, which I'm so happy about. I read and I loved this one and gave it 5 stars, so I'm really excited this made the shortlist. And then also reaching the shortlist are 2 Brandon Sandersons. There's Mistborn, A Secret History, which is, I believe, a Cosmere novella or a Cosmere short story, which doesn't fill me with great hope because I only read the first Mistborn book and wasn't that into it, but I want to be able to judge the category, and to be able to judge the category you really have to read all the books, so I shall be reading that one. Let's hope I understand some of it. And then in the third in this category is another Brandon Sanderson, and it's Edge Dancer from his book Arcanum Unbounded, which I believe is a short story in the Way of Kings world, which I have read and really enjoyed, so I shall be reading that one as well. I haven't got it at the moment. I am in the process of getting it reserved at the library, so I'm really excited about the books that have been nominated. I've got loads and loads of reading to be getting on with. Have you read any of these? Do you know yet what you're going to be picking for your favourite? Are you going to be reading along with us? All the links and everything will be down below. Let's chat in the comments, and let's see what happens over the next few months. I'm really excited to see who wins this year. There's lots of really interesting and different books nominated, so yeah, let's get started on some SFF reading. That's it from me. Bye for now, Booktube.